Tonight on Global TV News Prime, Borno State Governor visits Darul Jamal after 63 killed. In business, federal government launches initiative to curb 3.5 trillion naira post-harvest losses. On the foreign scene, Nigel Farage rallies faithful at Hard Rights Annual Reform UK meet. And in sports, Sabalenka retains United States Open title. Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I'm Uyi Agumofwegbe. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Tonight, we begin by telling you Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum has visited Darul Jamal, a town at the border with Cameroon that hosts a military base under heavy military escort. The governor, whose visit follows a terror attack that killed 63 people, including 5 soldiers, said the terrorists unleashed the mayhem on the town where residents had been returned a month earlier from a displaced camp. The latest attack raises questions about Nigeria's push in recent years to close down camps for internally displaced persons and return their inhabitants to the countryside. Governor Zulum confirmed to journalists at the scene of the attack the casualty figure.
It's very sad. This community was resettled some months ago and they are going about their normal businesses, but unfortunately they had a Boko Haram attack yesterday. So we are here purposely to commiserate with them and to build their resilience. As of now, we confirm that 63 have lost their lives. Yes, both the civilians and the army. But the civilian casualties are known.
While jihadist violence has waned since the peak of the Boko Haram insurgency between 2013 and 2015, militants, including rival Islamic State's West African province, continue to launch attacks across rural areas in the northeast, a situation that has now made Governor Zulum to say the numerical strength of the Nigerian army requires an upward review.
The numerical strength of the Nigerian army is not enough to contain the situation.
Residents said the attack began around 8:30 p.m. local time when dozens of fighters arrived on motorbikes firing assault rifles and torching homes. Uyi Agumofwegbe reporting for Global TV News. In the meantime, the United Nations has strongly condemned the killing of 63 people by suspected Boko Haram terrorists in Darul Jamal, Borno State. United Nations Humanitarian Coordinator Mohamed Fall described the attack, which left 5 soldiers and 53 civilians dead, while over 50 homes were razed, as deeply shocking and unacceptable. He called on Nigerian authorities to urgently investigate the incident, bring perpetrators to justice, and step up protection for vulnerable communities. To a different story tonight, the Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) and federal government workers have demanded an urgent review of the national minimum wage, insisting that the current 70,000 naira is no longer sustainable. They made the demand following the bold steps taken by some states across the country to increase the minimum wage of their workers above the 70,000 naira benchmark in response to the prevailing economic reality. The labor unions and workers said in the face of galloping inflation, rising cost of food, transportation, housing, and other essential services, the 70,000 naira minimum wage could no longer sustain them. Nigeria will witness a total lunar eclipse on Sunday, September 7, 2025, an event expected to last about 82 minutes and be visible across Africa, Asia, Australia, and parts of Europe. Experts explained that during the eclipse, the Earth's shadow will completely block sunlight from reaching the moon, leaving only dim reddish glow caused by atmospheric refraction. Nigerians can safely observe the entire spectacle with the naked eye, unlike solar eclipses, while other African nations, including Ghana, Cameroon, and Niger, will also experience the rare phenomenon. Socio-Economic Crisis and Accountability Project (SERAP) has dragged the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission to court over its proposal to raise salaries of top political office holders, including the President, Vice President, governors, deputies, and lawmakers. In a suit filed at the Federal High Court, Abuja, the organization argued that the planned hike is unlawful, unconstitutional, and inconsistent with the rule of law, urging the court to strike it down. The group further demanded that the commission review salaries and allowances of political leaders downward to reflect Nigeria's harsh economic realities, warning that the proposed raise undermines constitutional provisions and public interest. Northern leaders have warned President Bola Tinubu that worsening insecurity in the region has reached an unacceptable level, calling for an urgent cabinet reshuffle and stronger reforms. In a communique after their Abuja meeting, the forum said bandits, terrorists, and kidnappers continue to ravage communities daily, leaving farmers stranded and highways unsafe. Convener Dr. Dominic Alancha stated that Nigerians are suffering from economic hardship, insecurity, and social anxiety, urging the president to match rhetoric with decisive action in order to restore confidence and security in the country's north. All Progressives Congress National Chairman North, Ali Burka Dalori, has led a voter mobilization campaign in Konduga, Borno State, urging communities affected by floods and Boko Haram insurgency to register under the continuous voter registration exercise. He explains that many residents had lost or misplaced their voter cards due to displacements and disasters, making fresh registration critical for them to participate in elections. Community and youth leaders praised the initiative, promising to spread the message and ensure massive turnouts in subsequent engagements. Kano State Police commanders issued a public alert after the Yayasa Bridge in Tudunwada local government area collapsed following heavy rainfall. Police spokesman Abdullahi Haruna said the bridge, which connects Kano to Kaduna, Plateau, and Benue states, as well as the eastern region, has been cordoned off to prevent accidents, with traffic officers and road safety personnel deployed for smooth management. The Commissioner of Police, Ibrahim Adamu Bakori, urged motorists to follow alternative routes, cooperate with officers, and remain patient as authorities work with relevant agencies to mitigate the impact and restore safe passage. The federal government has launched the Renewed Hope Empowerment Program for widows and survivors of gender-based violence in Benue State. Our correspondent Felicity Indere reports from Government House in Markadi, where the program focused on empowering women.
20 agro-women entrepreneurs received 1 million naira each, while 100 women got 50,000 naira grants to grow their businesses. 24 survivors of gender-based violence also benefited.
This is for you on behalf of His Excellency, President Bola Tinubu.
Minister of Women Affairs, Hajaya Imam Suleiman Ibrahim, said the initiative underscores President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's commitment to women's empowerment and greater inclusion in agriculture.
Since its inception, Mr. President was very clear about inclusivity. You know, Mr. President's goal is to be able to address women's challenges economically, politically, and socially. Mr. President last month, a few months ago, launched the Social Impact Intervention for women, children, and families in 774 local government. So we're going to go all over to ensure that we domesticate this program. This program is multifaceted. It will help, in the areas of nutrition, energy transition, and addressing energy poverty for women, economically empowering them, protecting them from social vices, and also it will also help address other issues around our school enrollment and retention, because the welfare of the mothers and the stability of the families, translates into that for our children. So it's a huge program and we're committed on this.
Governor Hyacinth Alia represented by his deputy, Sam Ode, welcomed the intervention and committed 500 hectares of land to advance the federal government's Women in Agriculture initiative.
This intervention has tentacles in the 774 local governments of our country, Nigeria. That is quite remarkable. It shows that this government, the administration of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has passion for women. It shows that the government is not unmindful of the pivotal position of women, not only in their homes but in governance spaces.
Benue State government officials said the minister's visit will deepen federal-state collaboration on sustainable women-focused programs in the state.
Our vision in the Benue State Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Welfare is clear: to build a safer, more inclusive and supportive environment for women, children, widow and vulnerable persons. By leveraging the Renewed Hope agenda, we will continue to expand social protection system, broaden across to empowerment opportunities, and safeguard the dignities of every citizen.
Some beneficiaries expressed gratitude.
We've been farming, but the farming, nobody to support us. We are just farming, just to eat, but nothing to even get anything to pay children's school fees. But this in government come, they really help us. At the farm cassava, at the farm potato, at the rear goats and chicken. But since this government come, they have been touching our life through the Minister of Women Affairs. Our farm is good. We can be able now to pay our children's school fees, pay our...
I will add my farm because before I'd have challenge to do the farm because of money. But now as she helped me with the money, I will continue to the farm and I will increase, my farm will increase by the grace of God.
The Renewed Hope Empowerment Program is not just financial support, but a statement of inclusion, giving Benue women the tools to rebuild, recover, and lead in agriculture and beyond. In Makurdi, Felicity Ndere, Global TV News.
Well, thank you so very much, Felicity, for your reporting from Benue State tonight. Technology is reshaping the lives of Nigeria's young people. From smartphones to social media, it promises endless opportunities. However, it also comes with new risks. In this special report, our correspondent, Sadia Yakubu, explores whether this digital wave is lifting youth or holding them back.
Nigerian youth are at the heart of the country's digital transformation in the last decade. The spread of mobile phones, internet platforms, and artificial intelligence has redefined how they study, work, and connect with the world. For some, technology has been a game changer, unlocking access to online education, creating paths to remote jobs, and fueling the rise of small digital businesses. Many young people see it as a blessing, one that places opportunities once out of reach right at their fingertips.
So technology has helped us in a lot of ways. Number one, I will start by saying communication. In the olden days, we used to write letter to our friends and family in different states and use post office. But now you have telephone, you have internet, and this has helped us. Even in business, you don't need to have a shop again. Online, you can just post your goods and you will make a lot of sales.
Not everyone shares that optimism. Alongside its benefits, the digital era has also exposed youth to cybercrime, misinformation, and the growing problem of social media addiction. For others, the space has become more of a trap than a tool.
All the youth now, those that are graduates and those on graduates now, they need to talk about their knowledge and their academic, so that once when they grow and they graduate, come out for their education, they must have something producing.
Another thing is negative information. You have good people posting good information on Google and other platforms. You also have bad people posting things that are not true, causing problems within government, countries, even our celebrities. So you see people go there and learn both good and bad things.
The reality is complex. Whether technology becomes a bridge or a barrier often depends on access, awareness, and how responsibly it is used.
My advice to Nigeria is that let them provide the work for youth so that we can be able to keep ourselves in one thing or other.
As Nigeria continues to embrace the digital age, the real challenge is not in rejecting or accepting technology, but in building systems that channel its power towards inclusion and progress for the nation's young people. The future remains full of promise if innovation is matched with guidance. Sadia Yakubu, Global Television.
Well, there are people who say technology is the new oil, but we do believe that it is the future across sectors. Thank you so very much, Sadia Yakubu. This is Global Television. You're watching the live broadcasts of News Prime with Uyi Agumofwebe. When the rest of the news returns shortly, federal government launches initiative to curb 3.5 trillion naira post-harvest losses. We have those details for you, as well as foreign export stories when we return from this break. Please do stay with us. The second part of tonight's broadcast now returns with business. The federal government has launched the Nigeria Post-Harvest Systems Transformation Program to cut 3.5 trillion naira annual food losses and strengthen food security. Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kyari, unveiled the initiative at the Africa Food Systems Forum in Dakar, Senegal, saying it would stabilize food prices, improve storage, and boost farmer incomes. The program will promote household storage technologies, community warehouses, cold rooms, and national silos through public-private partnerships, unlocking investments, expanding infrastructure, enhancing exports, and creating jobs across the agricultural value chain. The Nigeria Customs Service Board has approved a new duty-free limit for low-value imports, a move expected to boost cross-border e-commerce and e-trade flows. The initiative includes the creation of dedicated service channels to guide stakeholders on compliance, respond to inquiries, and resolve complaints during implementation. Authorities say the policy will reduce clearance delays, enhance efficiency at entry points, and strengthen Nigeria's role as a regional hub for trade facilitation. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria's national leadership has distanced itself from a strike announced by its Western Zone over Dangote Refinery's decision to distribute fuel with its own trucks. In a statement signed by a national ex-official, Douglas Ike, the association urged members nationwide to disregard the strike and continue operations, noting that Dangote's move aligns with the Petroleum Industry Act. The National Executive Committee argued that the refinery's direct distribution model will reduce costs, ease financial pressure on marketers, lower pump prices, and minimize disruptions from union actions. Let's take the news beyond our shores tonight. British hard rights leader Nigel Farage has rallied his enthusiastic Reform Party at the start of its annual conference, seizing on the Labour government's woes to insist his movement could seize power within 2 years. Addressing thousands of supporters in Birmingham, central England, Farage said the earlier resignation of Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner showed the government is in deep crisis. Here is Mokhtar Qasim's report.
General election is not due for 4 years. The 61-year-old who rebranded his Brexit party as immigration-fixated reform in 2021 predicted Labour's struggle could force a contest far sooner, reeling off a list of issues from the record-high immigration in recent years to sluggish economic growth and alleged free speech curbs. Farage claimed in front of a crowd of reform-elected officials and members of the two-day event that the United Kingdom is the most dangerous place it has been in his lifetime.
But my sort of big message at the end of this conference, as we head towards those massive elections in Wales, in Scotland, in London, in the Midlands, and elsewhere next year, is that you are the people's army. And to succeed, it needs one thing: discipline.
Reform gathered in Birmingham buoyant after wins in May local elections and leading in most polls over the last 6 months, prompting a growing number of people to eye Farage as Prime Minister in waiting. Mukhtar Kasim reporting for Global Television News.
Thank you, Mukhtar. More than 15,000 protesters have thronged the streets of Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, demanding the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu strike a deal with Hamas to secure the release of hostages still held in Gaza. Families of captives and their supporters warned that expanding the war could further endanger the hostages as pressure grows on the Prime Minister amid some of the largest demonstrations in recent months. Ukraine says Russia has struck Kiev's main government building for the first time since the war began, killing at least 4 people, including a baby and a young woman. The attack was part of a massive open barrage in which more than 800 missiles and drones targeted cities across the country. Now time to take you to sports for some excitement tonight. Women's tennis world #1, Aryna Sabalenka has successfully defended her US Open crown with a 6-4, 7-6 win over American Amanda Anisimova in New York. The Belarusian, who now holds 4 Grand Slam titles, became the first woman since Serena Williams in 2014 to win consecutive US Open trophies, quelling a late fight back from Anisimova to seal victory. Despite her opponent's 29 unforced errors and struggles with consistency, Sabalenka maintained composure in key moments, finishing the job in a tense tieback to cap another dominant hard-court campaign. Victor Osimhen has been ruled out of Nigeria's 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying match day 8 encounter against the Bafana of South Africa. The Galatasaray striker was forced off injured in the first half of the Super Eagles' 1-0 victory over the Amavubi of Rwanda at the Gospel Akpabio International Stadium. Max Verstappen has sparked to victory at the Italian Grand Prix in Monza, ending McLaren's dominance this season with a flawless drive from pole position after setting the fastest lap in Formula One history. The Red Bull driver held off Lando Norris and championship leader Oscar Piastri, but still trails the Australian by 94 points in the standings, making a 5th consecutive world title unlikely. Verstappen's 3rd win of the season and 2nd in Italy this year capped a landmark weekend, while Ferrari's Charles Leclerc disappointed home fans by finishing 4th, and Lewis Hamilton settled for 6th after a grid penalty. Well, as they say, nobody wins them all. As Global TV News Prime comes to an end tonight, here is a look at some of our top stories. Borno State Governor Baba Gana Zulum has visited Darul Jamal, a town at the border with Cameroon that hosts a military base and a heavy military escort. In business, the federal government has launched the Nigeria Post-Harvest Systems Transformation Program to cut 3.5 trillion naira annual feed losses and strengthen food security. On the foreign scene, British hard right leader Nigel Farage has rallied his enthusiastic Reform Party at the start of its annual conference, seizing on the Labour government's woes to insist his government could seize power within 2 years. And finally, in sports, we told you women's tennis #1, Aryna Sabalenka has successfully defended her US Open crown with a 6-4, 7-6 win over American Amanda Anisimova in New York. And that's News Prime for you tonight. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We encourage you to follow, engage, and subscribe to our YouTube channels using @Global TV NG, as well as other handles you now see tonight, to follow us across all social media platforms. On behalf of my colleagues who have made tonight's news broadcast possible, I am Uyi Agmofwegbe saying thank you for watching, and here is wishing you a very productive week ahead. Good night.